Hey, change makers, welcome to the M.A.D. Youth Civility Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Anana, World Civility Ambassador, Youth Advocate, and the founder of Blessed Girls Global and the Four C's Youth Civility. Here, M.A.D. stands for Making a Difference, and that's exactly what we do. This is the space where youth voices rise, intergenerational wisdom flows, and the four C's, civility, community, creativity, and climate consciousness, guide the conversation. Every episode will amplify the stories, the struggles, and the successes of young leaders and mentors across the globe. We are showing up with purpose and passion. So buckle up. It's time to get inspired, get informed, and get mad. Today, we're spotlighting the brilliance, the boldness, and the leadership of one of our very own incredible Blessed Girl Youth Ambassadors. Her name is Kaitlyn Black. And just that, Caitlyn, she is a powerful voice for her generation. She's passionate about making a difference. Y'all know what it is in her community and around the world through civility, creativity, and confidence. And in this episode, Caitlyn shares her heart, her journey as a youth leader, and what it means to be a blessed girl who stands for justice, equality, and purpose. So get ready. I want you to be ready to be inspired by her authenticity, her courage, and her vision for the future. Because when girls rise, communities transform. So, without further ado, I just want to bring to the class, to the room, to the podcast. I want you all to welcome today, Caitlyn. Caitlyn, how are you today? Welcome to the podcast.
I am doing good. I am blessed.
Yes. How is everything going? How you feeling today?
I am feeling good. I am just feeling amazing today.
Yeah. We're
Yes.
glad you're here. You are a part of our initial conversations and introductions when it comes to the podcast, and of course, being a member of Blessed Girls, you are a part of this work. You are part of what we do in the foundation to Blessed Girls. So I'm glad that we get to introduce you to the world, and obviously to all of our podcast listeners. But please introduce yourself. Let the audience know a little bit about who you are and what pushes you forward in this time in the season.
Okay, so my name is Kaitlyn Black. I am finishing up, which I can't believe, my sophomore year of college. I currently attend Delaware State University. I'm majoring in kinesiology or exercise science, and I will be beginning my minor next year with social work. I decided to take on that minor. Um, I'm from New Brunswick, New Jersey. Um, my story, my journey as a youth leader has been quite entertaining, quite different. I would say I was always that quiet kid in the background who I would say recently, like the past couple years, I would say that things have changed and I have begun to shape myself as a leader in this generation. And yeah, I just turned to somebody who decided to just use their voice to make change.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, you speak about being the quiet one in the background. Um, and do you think are you still that quiet one in the background?
I would say a little bit, not as much as I was before. I'm starting to get out of my shell a little bit, so yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think we've coined it like it's a journey. When you talk about becoming a leader, right? Becoming a youth leader. So you really said you started out really as being quiet, maybe more of an introvert and shy, right? What has that journey been and what did you do to move forward and push out of your comfort zone? I don't know, like what, because you had to, I know, I definitely will push you, but what were the conversations in your head and in your heart? Let's just be transparent here. What did you have to do to make those steps and move forward, of course, by faith, but just share a little bit about that in retrospect.
I would say like just deciding one day I want to get out of my shell and just taking that first step and just putting like stepping out on faith. And honestly, like, because I'm a big person, like believing in God. So like, I just had to pray and talk to God. I was like, God, like, what's my purpose? Like, I felt like I wasn't doing anything to benefit the world. So talking to him, he kind of helped me figure out my purpose in life, and that's why I decided to actually make change and step out my comfort zone. Because in order to get comfortable, you have to get uncomfortable. So that's what I did.
I love it. I love it. And you sounds like you're saying to start with a decision, right?
Yes.
And you had to make that decision. I'm sure, your mom, family, teachers, other mentors, until you decided, right? It all starts with the decision. And doesn't matter what everybody else saying, what they want for you, but until you decide to move forward, right? And to take action, that's when it really started to happen.
Yes.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. I appreciate that. What first inspired you to become a Blessed Girl Ambassador, and how has that experience shaped you as a leader?
I would say just the mission and the impact that I knew was going to be. Like, I knew that this organization would change me for the better. So it was like that decision where I knew I had to be part of it. And I wanted to help girls who look like me and who are people who are those quiet ones in the corner who
Mhm.
just watch in the background. I wanted them to see me and like, hey, like I can use my voice. I can be that person as well. So
Yeah.
trying to inspire other girls is like my motivation to continue doing what I'm doing and to continue on with my purpose.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. And of course, being a Blessed Girl Ambassador, it is certain that you are. But I love it because it's not just Blessed Girls, it's your life on campus, your life in your community, all of these things. Like nothing is just like compartmentalized. You know what I mean? You're not just a Blessed Girl Ambassador, that's it. But you also are an athlete, you leader. You know what I mean? Like all of these things come together and they shape who you are as a leader. And I see that. I think you were just spotlighted, right? You want to tell us about your most recent, that was in the past 24 hours. Come on, talk about it.
So yes, I was spotlighted on my campus, my sophomore, my class of 27. We the board spotlights people who are on campus, and they spotlighted me and the work that I have been doing within the past school year. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like multifaceted, you know what I mean? So you're a leader in one aspect, but then that also transcends to, your life in general, right? And it just enhances everything. So I see that. And of course, congratulations, in that regard. Now, you talked about being quiet, being in the back of the room, but really you've spoken on global stages. You've been at United Nations, you've traveled to London, right? And
Yeah.
you've spoken, about the status of women, about gender equality. And just tell me a bit, like, what were those experiences like, and what message did you share on behalf of girls and women? If you had to go back, not that far long ago, excuse me, but share a little bit about that with us.
I would say that experience was very eye opening for me. It kind of helped me get to like the point where I am now of saying like I belong in these rooms. Like I'm not just gonna just stay quiet anymore. Like the time is now. The time is now to use my voice and realizing that my voice actually has power. And speaking from someone a small city in New Jersey,
Mhm.
showing girls who are from my city that you can do this too. That there's opportunities out there. You just have to go ahead and take them because at the end of the day, you can't make somebody do the work. You kind of have to for yourself. You have to take that initiative for yourself.
Mhm.
And the message I shared at these events that just using your voice has power and being in like you belong in the room. Like that's just what it is. Like you belong
Mhm.
and you deserve it no matter what you have been through. You deserve all the opportunities that comes your way. It's all about taking initiative and taking the opportunity to act like to get those opportunities. And then once you use your voice, you get be able to change the world.
Mhm. I love it. I love it. Your voice matters, right? And there's so much power in that. And I feel like other people know your voice matters. That's why they try to keep us quiet. You know what I mean? Like we don't really realize how important it is of using our voice, sharing our experience, right? And how liberating it is. Not just for ourselves, because I'm sure, of course, it's with some trepidation, right? There's a level of security of, fear, if you will, right? But once you push past that, it's like I didn't just do this for me, but I know it's every other girl, right, that might be looking up to me or that may obviously hear this podcast or see me here, right? It's like it's bigger than me. Like it's not so much just about me, but it's about those that are coming behind me, right? And those that are going to be inspired by me. And I love when our leaders and our girls get to experience that and walk that out. And then you just take much more bigger leaps of faith. Right? You move into action for the next thing. You won't even question it. It's like, no, my voice matters, and I'm going to use my voice, and you're going to hear me, right? Um, can you think of like a time when normally you wouldn't have said anything or you wouldn't have take action? Do you have like an example of like, yeah, no, I did that. Or, normally I would not have responded or I wouldn't have gone for this or I wouldn't have, do you have any examples of things like that?
I would say now, like currently, I'm running for a board position on campus, and before I was not worried about running for a board position. But I decided to take the initiative, and I knew that organization was very important to me. So I took that initiative of saying, no, I'm going to run for a board position and I'm going to work hard to get this because I really want this. And having like the encouragement and support from other people in the organization wanting you to run for position
Mhm.
made it even easier to run for the position.
Absolutely, absolutely. So as it is now, you've been taking these leaps of faith. You've been moving forward as a leader. How have you seen the impact? Have you gotten any words or any young people come up to you? Or it won't even be young people. It could even be like we inspire a lot of people. I inspire people that are not just younger than me, but even older than me. Do you have any testimonies like, really? Like you saw that or you see me like that now? Have you seen the impact, yet? Or any people that, you could say, oh, wow, really? That's what's happening?
I have actually. One of my friends that I've known for years because our moms are friends. Her name is Kayla. She's kind of like my mentee right now. She has seen my growth. She knows me personally, how I was that quiet person, how I just turned into like somebody who actually uses their voice, and she told me how inspired she is by that, which is why she became my mentee.
Hmm. And how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel really good because I never thought I'll be able to like actually inspire somebody.
Mhm.
So it's very like heartwarming that somebody actually is inspired by me. It's
Mhm.
like kind of crazy. I'm like, oh my gosh, like what?
That part. And she's only one of many, right? So there's only one. If you could think of it, then I know there's many, many more, to come in that space. You recently launched a nonprofit on mental health. Congratulations. Can you tell us more about that and the mission and what inspired you to start?
So the Wyziiah Foundation is named after my godsister. Her name was Princess Wyziiah. She took her life, and that kind of opened my eyes to mental health because I'm not even gonna lie, I really didn't pay attention to anything about mental health until that situation happened to me. So seeing how somebody who's always happy and everything, but inside she was actually suffering. And me not knowing that she was suffering, it kind of was like, wow, like it's probably more people who are like that who are suffering in silence. So I wanted to break the stigmas and launched a nonprofit to better mental health within the youth because the suicide rate that's going on right now is huge in youth, and it's like so sad to see that this is what's going on in the world right now within our youth. Like our youth are supposed to be living these long lives, happy lives, but they're people who are like in elementary school taking their own life because of what they're going through. So the Wyziiah Foundation is about making mental health kits towards young adults and youth with items that particularly help youth in a way. So, for example, one of the items is a coloring book. Coloring helps with coping with stress and anxiety. So that has that, and it's also resources as well. Because there's a lot of mental health resources in the world that are not being utilized. So I wanted to bring those resources up into light and to let people know like there are resources, there are people who want to help you. Like you don't have to suffer in silence.
No, no, that's good. I like the resources, the awareness, and also the access, you know, to help. And I feel like the more you tell her story, as you know it and from your perspective, right? And even the experience for you, and your family, I think the more the message will get out, the more the awareness, like you said, I feel like this type of stuff is always like deep and dark, and like you said, nobody knows until it's like, what? Right? And so the more that you talk about it using your voice, again, right? It helps to uncover a lot of the things that lurk in the darkness, right? That lurk behind the scenes. So I applaud you in that. And I know that you continually do the work, right? For yourself, right? And your family, as that. And so I'm just grateful. I thank you for your courage, your candidness. And there's just a lot of facets to this, right? And so I'm really excited to see what your next is with the foundation. I'm definitely excited about that. I'm grateful that we're here for it. We are here for
Yeah,
it. And you spoke about like the numbers of suicide and mental health, and I know like it's almost like a critical issue right now, right? I like to say it's like the house is on fire and the alarms aren't going off, right? That young people are really, really struggling with various mental health issues. And like, what do you think are some of the barriers, right? Into obviously getting the help or even just identifying, what do you think are some of the challenges for young people today in regards to their mental health?
I would say some people thinking that it's not real.
Mhm.
Like they think it's a game, or they think because how a lot of people grow up is, oh, you have to be strong. Like you can't show this emotion. You can't go through these things. But in reality, like you need to go through the emotions with everything, and people don't realize how you're people saying, oh, you have to be strong is really hurting somebody. It's kind of like you see them being strong, but inside they're really suffering, and you think, oh, like they're just joking around. It's not real. But life is challenging. Life it gets real. So we just need to address the problems at hand and stop trying to keep it undercover.
Yeah. And I like the fact that like what does strength look like? Strength is saying, yo, I need help.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like strength is like I am about to lose it. Like this not strong strength is not putting on this face and this mask. Like the strong part about you and your real strength is in being vulnerable. It's in being honest. It's being the ones that say, I need help and I can't take this. Like, is reaching out and just removing the mask and being open. I have to say, keeping it hot, honest, open, and transparent, right? And so the more we say that, like being strong is not like you are just a strong warrior, nothing ever penetrates and doesn't bother you. That's not strength. And I think once we begin to change that narrative, and really speak truth to that, that it'll just shift our mindset because, and we are, Black and brown people, and especially women, like strong Black women, we're taught that, right? And then your generation is taught that, and then young, we keep that going, and we need to change that. Like, it's okay, you still are strong by saying, I'm not good, right? It's like, so, um, subconsciously we teach that and we pass that down to generation. And I'm grateful for like, your generation to identify that and to change that narrative, So I think that'll be a good piece of it as you move forward. Um, I think what challenges do you see young people facing when it comes to mental health? Like, why do you see such high numbers? Like, what do you think is happening, and what are some of the pressures or some of the barriers or some of the things that you might have experienced personally or you see and know, by your students or friends or what have you? And how does your organization seek to address those?
So I would say like the barriers would be people people who people who just think that mental health is something that, oh, like a common cold, when it's really not. Mental health has a long-term impact that I feel like people really don't understand.
Mhm.
Like, for example, like I'm in college right now and it's finals week. That's like one of the most stressful times for college students because that can make or break you.
Mhm.
And a lot of times people don't think, oh, they don't take those like breaks. Like people like to work and not take breaks.
Mhm.
And it's, they just like to go, go, go. But all that time you're going, you could really be suffering. That could really take an impact on you. And people don't realize the impact of all the things that we have going on in the world until when it all comes down at once. And then that's why suicide rate is just so high. Because one day people just say, I can't take this no more, and then take their own life. When we could be taking life step by step, day by day, instead of just working through the whole 24 hours of the day.
Mhm.
And my organization is trying to tell people to take those breaks and utilize the kits that are for you. Take those breaks. Like, for example, me, in the kit, there's journaling. There's a journal and prompts. And me, I take journaling very seriously. I have a journal. I journal every time I feel stressed. My journal is filled with like all my feelings inside. And that is my break of just taking it one step at a time and not having all those pressures and stresses feel onto me and not breaking me. So it's really all about taking those breaks in life and not working through the whole rest of your life, just working and letting that all build up inside of you.
Yeah, no, that's definitely good. I think obviously I know, journaling. I know people who do it, I know people don't. And you could tell the difference right away, right? The
Mm-hmm.
effectiveness of it. And again, those are learned hobbies, learned behaviors, but it seems minimal, but these are ways of coping. These are tools, right, to relieve stress. You don't understand it, but life is heavy. Like there's so many things coming at you. And I feel like for you all, especially from difference of my age, is that, it's 24/7. You have social media, you know what I mean? It's your phone. Like it's constant where you go to school, you go to college, you can still go in your room and turn off. You know what I mean? You just didn't have this 24/7 interaction, engagement, narrative, stuff being put towards you. I don't, I mean, I can't, but it's just constant access, and images and things that's really come bombard you. And I feel like aside from that is putting some boundaries in place, to really realizing is my news feed or whatever feed beneficial, right? You know what I mean? Is it the people that I'm following, the people that that they're feeding me, right? Or, is that good? And knowing when to walk away or have timers on them. I know my middle son is early in his early 20s. Like he'll just be like, nah, mom, I'm not on it. Like he just shuts off, like, and then he's like, all right, I'm back on again. So you have to know yourself and again have these boundaries and these limitations where enough is enough. And I think my oldest does it too. Sometimes he's like, nah, I'm not on Instagram no more. Like, I turned off TikTok, it's not on my phone, and then they'll come back to it. It's not like never, but there has to be a level of awareness, and again, that's a level of maturity, self-awareness, to get to that. And I think the earlier we teach that, right, the earlier let you, again, 12-year-olds know, a 10-year-old, once you give them access, right, that there needs to be some boundaries, there needs to be some checks and balances in place for your own mental health and well-being, if you will. But you have any thoughts about that and the whole impact of, 24/7 everything? Just,
I take breaks all the time. Like sometimes, like,
yeah.
oh, I don't feel like going on Instagram today right now, or I don't feel like scrolling on TikTok right now. And I
Mhm.
need to take that break to just do me. A lot of times we don't take that self care,
Yeah. Yeah.
and taking a break from social media is definitely needed because social
Okay.
media today is a lot. Like I had to unfollow people who were just bringing negative energy,
Yeah.
and I was
Yeah.
like, no, I can't deal with this right now because that honestly really affects you
Yeah.
and can really break you down and can really mess with your mind. And people really don't really understand
Yeah.
that those things actually matter
Yeah.
because energy is everything. Like,
Mhm.
for example, you're not going to want to be around people who just talk about drama all the time. No, I want to be around people who are going to add to my growth, who are going to encourage me and be a support system, and not always a group or like just talk about people. Like that's no, like we're no.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it. So much in that, and I know as you continue with the foundation and your kids and, giving tips and, things like that, I think will be so beneficial, right? So again, I'm just grateful for your yes, for you taking the leadership in that space. Just a question about leadership and empowerment. Like, what does youth empowerment mean to you? And how do you help other girls feel seen, heard, and supported?
Youth empowerment to me is standing up for yourself
Mm,
and talking about things. Because
mm,
a lot of times I feel like when I like say for example, when I was growing up, I was told, "Oh, stay in the child's place."
mhm,
And a lot of times, our families, like the older people, like to sugarcoat things and not actually talk about things. But in reality, things do need to be talked about.
mhm,
Like for example, they wouldn't like show the news of like what's going on in the world, but
mhm.
that's going to affect us in the long run. So why not bring those issues up and talk about it?
Yeah,
So I feel like as for youth, standing up, I would say youth empowerment is really standing up for yourself and talking about those issues and bringing all those issues into light.
mhm.
Um, and I feel like for me, my testimony is something that I can help girls feel seen and supported
Mhm.
because that would encourage them to share their testimony. Because a lot of things we like to hide, and it's time to stop hiding things. It's time to bring everything to the table and to talk about every issue. Because at the end of the day, those issues can affect us, and it can affect our mental health and how we live. So why not talk about those issues?
Absolutely. Back again to using your voice and speaking truth, right, to life and bringing that out. What's one message you want to leave for other youth who are passionate about making a difference? This is the Mad podcast. What's one message that you want to leave for young people today?
I would say all it takes is one person to make change. And when you see that one person make the change, others will follow you
Mm,
and you'll get that support system. So when you're trying to bring change, just think about how you're going to have a support system to back you up. It's not just going to be you.
mm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, I I like that, and it just takes one. And I feel like any person we see and we, think are such a great leader, they just had to be the one, right? You got to be the first one to take that step. Look back, leave the crowd, right? And say, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna take the chance, right? It just really starts with just one person doing that. And so that's how, we all just start a movement in that regard. And so I'm grateful for you being the one, you being the one, you being a mental health advocate for young people in that regard. And so, just in closing, you want to just share with the audience how they can follow, connect with you, and learn more about the work that you're doing?
Yes, so I'm very active on Instagram. You could follow the Wyziiah Foundation page at Wyziiah WYZ two I's AH Foundation underscore. You can also follow my Instagram. I post a lot of updates on there. Caitlyn.elise ELISE underscore. But yeah, I'm pretty active on both my pages, so you can see information about that on there and any updates. And yeah,
Absolutely. So make sure you guys stay connected, follow, and reach out, learn more about the kids, right? How you can get access to, and what age group are you focusing on?
the age group is, I would say, elementary
Okay.
to high school,
Okay.
but also young adults as well. So like to like 30
Okay.
as well.
Okay, very good, very good. So it can match all kinds of stuff. You can do it as a school event, summer program. You know, you can like, augment something during the summer events, women's conferences, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So just again, please make sure you connect and shout out, or if you can reach out to me with Blessed Girls, we'll be sure to make that connection for you. Now we know that May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and so it's great that we are kicking off this month talking about you and the work that you're doing and your passion and your mission. And I think we're going to be coming back. We'll be doing a virtual summit this month as well. So stay tuned. And I'm sure you'll be dropping more, definitely some more intentional resources and tips for our young people this month, right?
Yes, yes, I am.
Indeed, indeed. Well, all right. We thank you so much, Caitlin, for your time today. Thank you for just sharing, from your heart, what is happening. And we know, of course, dealing with mental health and suicide is such a sensitive and a delicate topic. But if anybody can do it, you can do it. And so I'm grateful for that. You clearly have the grace for it. And so I salute you today. I thank you for being an ambassador with Blessed Girls and standing for youth civility and equity around the world. And of course, to our audience, we thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning into the MAD Youth Civility Podcast, where we believe youth aren't just the future, they are the now. And if today's episode moved you, inspired you, or made you think, make sure you subscribe, share, and help us grow this movement. We're on a mission to get 30 subscribers in our first 30 days, and we are getting close to that. So make sure that you subscribe, and we want you to be on this journey with us, as Caitlin was talking about, the journey to leadership and developing in that regard. So we're going to continue to hear these stories. Caitlin will be back. We will certainly feature her regularly, definitely dealing with mental health in our young people. So make sure that you stay connected, you stay committed, and most of all, stay mad about making a difference. Until next time, keep rising and keep leading. I am Dr. Anana, and be bold. Continue to be bold, to be you, and to be blessed. Have a great day.